Hello and welcome to a special edition of VCFA Chiefsman's Corner. I'm your host, Coach Winuvas, head man of the VCFA, and I come to you tonight with a little bit of bad news but good news. The bad news is that I've been doing some research on doing custom conferences, and have come to the realization that with the addition of dynasty points, which on the record I love. I love the addition of dynasty points overall. I think it's a great addition. It makes the small schools feel really small, and it makes the big schools feel really big. But unfortunately, EA, in their infinite wisdom, has got some bugs in it, and I don't see them being fixed with a day one patch because I don't think it's going to be their highest priority. Okay, so what the bug is when custom conferences are put into play, when you adjust, and I knew this going in, all the budgets are based on conference prestige. You get a little piece of the pie based on the prestige of your conference. I knew that going in. So what I assumed, that's my error, is that if you adjust, you would be lowered down or adjust. It would adjust out, but it would never zero out completely. I was wrong. I did our custom conferences. It took about 30 minutes to put all the teams in the right conferences. The first time I did it, it actually bugged out, and I could not put conference games on for some of the conferences, so it just zeroed out conference games. So I was like, great, that's lovely. Went back in the second time, got all that to work, and then found out on the back end there were at least 7 or 8 teams that would have no NIL. Where they would normally have NIL, they zeroed out. To even teams that didn't move conferences, teams like Air Force that did not move from the Mountain West, and the Mountain West didn't adjust all that much, but they got zeroed out. They went from like having 1,000 point budget to zero. I have no idea why. And there was, like I said, 7 or 8 other teams. I know Rutgers was on the list but I'd relegated them down to a lower conference. Virginia, who didn't move, they got zeroed out. I know there's like 4 or 5 other teams. I went through it kind of quick, and I also did a little test at the end. After the first year, it does reset back to normal. But with our idea of VCFA doing promotion relegation, I did a test where I also promoted and relegated a couple teams, and those teams that got relegated, not only did they fall back to a worse conference, they lost all their dynasty points. So they were going to have zero NIL for the upcoming season. So a bad team was moving to a bad conference and getting jibed on the top end of it. So I didn't feel like that was in the best interest of the league. So I kind of talked with some leadership that were available today in our leadership chat, and I'm going to make the executive decision that we will not be doing promotion, relegation, or custom conferences this cycle. That is in an effort to kind of keep us clean as far as the minimum amount of bugs. I've heard some other bugs about computer teams not recruiting well, which that's par for the course. But apparently it's stupendously bad right now. I will see about that. But the big one is dynasty points because that affects your ability to recruit. And I didn't want to put anybody behind the 8 ball from the start, nor did I want to put anybody behind the 8 ball if they were to get relegated, pumped back to a lower league. So what we're going to have is we're going to have standard conferences. So the Pac-12 will be the Pac-12 as it stands right now. In the ACC, you're going to have like Stanford in California, and the Big Ten's going to have Oregon, and all those ridiculous teams that should not be there are going to be there. When I did the realignments, I wanted to realign it geographically and kind of put everybody back where they should be, uh, and treat the Pac-12 like a power conference. But in game, it's not treated as a power conference. So what that would have meant, even if we did custom conferences, is the Pac-12 would have probably gotten the best of 6 bid. The freebie that the playoff for the college football playoff would have almost certainly went to the Big 12 or the Pac-12, excuse me, almost exclusively because they had had the best teams and they would have gotten that free bid. And anybody who's in like Sun Belt or whatnot would have had to have a perfect season to even have a shot at the playoff. So this kind of keeps it more to where if we play as smaller teams, we will have a shot at the college football playoff because the Pac-12 is not that strong, not as strong as what I made it. Um, so that being said, you will, however, be limited in what you can pick for a team. And I'm going to bring it up now if it's still up. Yeah, it's still up. Okay. Um, so what we have here is I'm gonna come back on screen actually because I didn't want to go off just yet. But our ruling is going to be this: any team that shows up in the 2-star, 1-star, or 0-star columns when you go to pick teams is going to be available for choice. So what that means is I'm going to go in here real quick, and any team that's in this current setup, which is 2 stars, and I'll flip through it really quick just so you can kind of see who's all in there. Any of these teams, even if they're 2.5-star prestige, they're available for choice in the conference they're in. So if you want to take and run Maryland in the Big Ten, go for it. If you want to take Oregon State or Northwestern in the Big Ten, you can. If you want to take the ACC North Carolina, you can. Navy, they're in the American. Purdue in the Big Ten. Rutgers in the Big Ten. Any of these teams I'm currently highlighting are available for choice. And then also anybody in the 1-star, which I got to flip to the top of the list. So there we go. So just flipping through these really quickly. Any team that's on this list is available for choice. So just kind of familiarize yourself with this because that's going to be how we're going to line up as far as choosing teams. This potentially could mean that your team that you have kind of landed on is not available. And I do apologize for that if you are one of the people that kind of fell into this hole. But we kind of got dumped with something we didn't expect from EA, which should not be a shock. So we have to kind of change on the fly and react. So hopefully you will not be too upset if you picked a team that is outside the realm of the teams that are available for choice. That being said, again, just want to reiterate, if you pick a lower prestige team, you do get bonuses to off-season regimen points at the end of each season, and it's dependent on your prestige when you end the season. So if you start at 0-star, you'll get, I think it's 30 extra ORP to spend on your players. So that can be pretty big, especially if you read over our off-season regimen program, especially if you build into it with, chatting in chat, doing articles, doing content for your team. That will add up as well for you in the form of incentives. We're doing a new incentive plan. That will still be in play. But our custom conferences, which is kind of the thing that made us unique, I felt like, for the last cycle, unfortunately, due to programming on EA side, it's going to have to go away. And it'll be gone for this cycle because I don't trust EA to fix this. And even if they do fix it, my worry would be they'd only fix it for new dynasties and not for existing dynasties. So that being said, we're going to have our conferences, the way they are right now. So everything will be de facto college football. So if you were upset at the changes that I made for custom conferences, guess what? You're free and clear. We're not going to have those changes. But we are changing how you choose teams to kind of compensate for that. So again, you'll be able to pick any team that is listed in the 2 stars, 1 star, or 0 stars category. Even if they're 2.5 stars, you'll be able to pick them for use. Anybody that's 3 stars or above is off limits. Now, that being said, after the first year, the coaching carousel will be open, and if there is a team that is a higher prestige that you wish to jump to, that becomes available. You can put your hat in the ring, and if you get hired, you can take over that squad. We're putting a 1-year moratorium on taking over a power team. I was hoping we could kind of keep it all in lower tiers and kind of be on the same level. But thanks to EA, they kind of threw a monkey wrench in it, so I'm kind of having to play a little bit on the fly. I feel like 2.5 stars is a nice top-level limit because if you take a team like that, with a good season, you can be in the running for the college football playoff. Even if you have like a couple losses, if you're in a Power 4 conference, you have a chance to make a college football playoff. So that being said, we're kind of wanting to limit the use of power teams at least early off the cuff. But again, after the first year, if you get a job at Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, LSU, those big premier colleges, and you get hired, we're not going to say, no, you can't do that. But for the first year, we are. So first year, we're going to put a lock, build up your coach, build them up the way you want to, and then move on to a bigger challenge if you can. Be aware that the team has to want you to. So there is that. But that being said, that's the little quickish announcement I wanted to make. VCFA will not be doing custom conferences this year. Teams can be chosen based on 2.5 stars of prestige or lower. And all you have to do is just use I can show you real quick just to make sure. All you got to do is use the R2 button whenever you're choosing your team, and you just go to 2 stars. And as long as all is selected, you can pick from any of these. If you have a specific conference you want to be in, like let's say maybe you want to be in the Big Ten, then you can pick from Maryland, Northwestern, Purdue, or Rutgers. So if you want to narrow it down to a particular conference you want to go to, like let's see, has SEC got anybody in here? State and Vanderbilt. So those are the only 2 teams you can probably pick from the SEC, because I doubt they have any 1 stars, and I doubt they have any 0 stars. So again, we just want to limit. That's the reasoning we wanted to go to strictly group of 5 teams, is to limit the amount of players that were going to power teams right off the cuff, just to kind of keep us all in the same kind of boat. That being said, we're still kind of doing that, but we're going to change gears a little bit, and hopefully you guys understand and are roll with us as we move forward. Again, it's an EA thing. We're just rolling with the punches as we find these things out. We're lucky we found out now versus day of launch on this Thursday. That being said, again, just one last time, just to make sure you catch everything. No custom conferences this year. Must start at a 2.5 star or less school. And after year 1, if you get hired at a better school than 2.5 stars, go for it. Okay, that's it. That's the gist of it. So that being said, thank you for your time watching this. Appreciate you joining the VCFA or playing in the VCFA this cycle. Thanks always for your support. We're looking forward to a great College Football 27 cycle. Hopefully we get some energy, we'll get some content, and we'll hopefully have a lot of fun this college football cycle. Thank you for your time, guys. I've been Winuvas, and I'll catch you later.